All right, so it looks like we have a good connection for this broadcast, and so it's been a while since I broadcast one of my flights, and this is a flight that prepared this week just for fun to be able to fly the F-16 in bad weather. So I'm going to be flying as part of a flight of Italian F-16s, and we've been tasked with level bombing a captured helicopter base near the border. So the Soviets operate Mi-8 and Mi-24 helicopters from there. Your targets are the helipad area with helicopters, fuel trucks, pilot tents, supply vehicles. So I put target 1, target 2, target 3 so we can see them here. I can zoom in a little bit on that image that I put there. But those are actually waypoints that I can target. And so I think we'll have like the waypoints once we get loaded in the bigger briefing. But it gives us a little bit of an idea. We can see there are parked helicopters there and some trucks and things that like here the area with the pilot tents and all. So it's going to be the area we'll bomb, and with the new bombs and DCS that make a little bit more damage, hopefully like some of the splash damage gets the trucks, the helicopters, and all that good stuff. I also have like another picture here because there's a nearby SA-6 site where the radar's been taken out, but there are still launchers, trucks, and a column of trucks here. So if I want to practice my guns, I can do that where the thing is labeled target 4. So that's what it's going to look like. It's early morning. It's raining in many parts, I think including the airfield where I'm going to take off in Frankfurt. And so that's more or less the plan here. And so we have an AWACS, we have some tankers who will be flying, like I said, an Italian F-16 with just regular Mark 82s and our good old trusted guns. I believe I've put like Sidewinder mics for self-defense. It's fairly long to load on this map. Probably should have done that earlier. Alright, so I'll take my old trusty 32 plane. You can see some of the helicopters at the helipad. It's early morning. There's a little bit of fog with the rain. So I'll give it a little bit of time to load and we can look at the more detailed briefing. I actually wanted to write down a few things here for my steer points. So steer point 3, it's like the first target I want to hit. And then steer point 6 is where they have the SA-6, which is target 4. So I like to have like a scrap piece of paper once in a while to write things like that. If you need like frequencies, like my AWACS, I think I'm already on that frequency, and same thing for this one. These are good things to know before you take off. I could write for the boom refueler that it's Texaco. And Texaco is on 135 megahertz. And TACAN 35X. So little details like that can be useful if I want to go practice my in-flight refueling. And I wrote here like it's an old school mission without a targeting pod or a joint helmet mounted queuing system. So we'll be dropping bombs with CCRP on the waypoint, but we can also use CCIP. I might do that for the tents, the pilot tents. So maybe I'll do one pass with 4 bombs on the helicopters and maybe 2 bombs on those tents here. We'll see. So that's the plan anyways. We'll see how things go once we're in there. So I'll just click fly so we can have an idea of the weather. You can see that there's a lot of rain droplets falling on my canopy here. Visibility is not that great. If we go in the outside view, we'll see a little bit better my plane. So it is an Italian livery for this F-16. And I've got the 9 mics on the wingtips, some Mark 82s, like 6 of them total, fuel tanks, and that's it. And we can see the pilot doesn't have the helmet mounted cueing system. Oh, I see that there are planes already in the air, so that's something I forgot to do in the mission editor. These should have shown up a little bit later, but we'll see if we even encounter them when we're flying. We can see them on the TNDL there, but I'm mostly focusing on my air to ground. So what I'll do here before I take off is set my ripple to 4, maybe the spacing to something like, I don't know, 45 feet. And that'll drop 4 bombs the first time, and I don't have to change anything. If I want to drop the last 2 afterwards, it'll drop them. And so that's the plan for air to ground. And then for air to air, I only have those, so that's fine. So we'll go back to our nav screen, and we can see our radio frequencies are set for AWACS and the airfield. So I guess I could call ATC for takeoff.
Uzi 6, request taxi to runway. Uzi 6, clear to taxi to runway 7.
So a few things I'll set up before taking off. This here, kind of like to put it in manual, program 1, and we'll set our lights on steady right away. And there isn't much to turn on in terms of power here because we already have well, we don't have a targeting pod, so maybe just adjust my brightness since we're early in the morning, and I guess we're good to go. So we'll turn on the nose wheel steering right here, and should be good to go. Now my plan here for getting to the runway, I have to go to the other runway on the other side, so I'll have to follow like a few taxiways. So sort of plan my path at half time. Let's remove the parking brake and start taxiing. I've put in a few like objects to make it challenging. Like if we look in the outside view, you'll see that there are like objects there. There's a truck and little fences next to it and cones, so that we have to avoid those when we're taxiing. And in the rain it's not super easy, but we're gonna go take off on runway 07 left. So here on the taxiway I'm gonna have to turn left. We hear a lot of traffic on the radios. This is using my template that I've made like for the southern part of the Cold War Germany map. Maybe before I start going any further, we could have a quick look at the F10 map, just to give you an idea where we are and what we're doing. You can see the tanker here that I was talking about earlier. There's another one there. There's the AWACS. Those are the planes that were noted, and there's a front line there. And the enemy has captured like this area here that we're going to go bomb. And then there's that site there where there's an SA-6 and trucks. So if I put my waypoints, you'll see my flight plan here. I'm going to go in that direction, come back here, and then land back at base. So this shows the importance of knowing a little bit where you're going on an airfield when it's raining like this, because we can't see much. Yeah, I'm not trying to take off on this runway, don't worry. So I just crossed runway 07 right. Now we're gonna cross 07 left, and then we'll turn left to get like to the threshold of the runway. That's the other runway here. So they've given me the permission for takeoff already, but not quite there yet. So we'll turn left here. Going to use the outside view to cheat just a little bit, just to make sure I'm in the right spot. And so we're going to turn around here to go on 07 left. Usually I like to pause before that line to request takeoff.
Uzi 6, request takeoff.
They don't always respond, though. Sometimes you have to be closer to the runway.
Magic 1-1, passing waypoint 2 at 29,000.
Maybe this is the right line to request it.
Uzi 6, request takeoff. Uzi 6, you are clear for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.58.
Alright, so let's get in position and get this bird up in the air. You can see the runway lights. That helps a lot when it's raining. And we're gonna running up. There we go. Above 100, we can turn off nose wheel steering. Start pulling on the stick. Oh. Airborne and gears coming up. So we're picking up speed pretty quickly, and now we can turn right for our first waypoints. So we are 16 miles, and as you can see, the cloud cover is fairly low. So I've set the waypoint, I think, at 6,000 feet, which should be below the clouds. You can see that it's still very early because there are lots of lights in the city of Frankfurt. You can see the big tower there and some of the taller buildings. Just going to make sure my rudder pedals are centered. It looks like we're out of the big rain squall we had at the airfield. And we'll stabilize the plane at Angel 6. altitude hold autopilot right there. And since we're flying alone, we don't need these formation lights, so we're gonna go stealthy. Kind of harder to spot like this. You can see like the little spots of rain in front and to the left. And the two planes that I had put in the air, which were supposed to come in later in the mission, they're cold, they're heading away from us, so we probably won't have to deal with those. So it's going to be purely a ground attack mission, because I forgot to put enemy planes late activated in the mission editor, so that's my mistake. Alright, so we're passing the first waypoint, so we're going to go to our IP. We're 14 miles, so we're not flying very far. I had put the 2 fuel tanks in case I would need to do some dogfighting or some intercepts on these planes, but since they're already not even on the scope anymore, we don't even see them. They've probably returned to their own base. So we get to enjoy the beautiful morning colors like this. This is awesome stuff. That's one of the things I really enjoy in DCS, is looking at the scenery behind us. We can see the rain. Here we can see the holes in the clouds with all that wonderful light, the reflections on the window, the cockpit. Still have to pay attention to those warnings. There's an SA-6 there, so we'll have to be careful. I think it's to our north. Yeah. We can see it here. So if we stay out of it, like, our flight plan doesn't go into that zone, so we should be okay. I know there is AAA in the target area, so that's something that I'll have to check. And since my initial target will be with the CCRP, and we're getting very close to our second waypoint, what I'll do is I'll go to air to ground, make sure I am in CCRP here, and we'll have our line that will line us up with the target. Now I'm gonna get the autopilot off. Like I said, there is a little bit of AAA. We can see some smoke ahead of us and some of the things there. Probably that's the SAM site where there's smoke, and there's smoke like near the targets there too. So I'm going to be going up and down just a little bit, just to confuse if there's any AAA guns that have spotted us. But I want to stay as much as possible close to my release altitude, which I've set at 6,000. Actually, I could go a little bit lower than 6,000 for my release, but we're getting very close to the release cues when we see this. This is for the toss bombing. So I like to sort of zoom in on my HUD so that I can make sure I'm right on the line when I'm going to drop. And now that we're going to see this line start to fall down, I'm going to hold the pickle button, and my first 4 bombs are going to fall. Hopefully I'm going to be lined up properly. And bombs away. So we can see that some of our bombs have fallen. Let's see where they're going. Let's see if we did a good job there. Kaboom. So there's a few things caught fire there. That's pretty good. Kind of like that. And like I said, there's possibility of AAA, so I want to check this. And I'm going to switch to CCIP, because now I have like a fairly good visual of where the targets are with all that smoke and fire. And I'm going to drop my last 2 bombs on the pilot tents, which are on steer point 5, I think, or 4, like steer point, no, yeah, steer point 5. There we go. So we have the steer point 5 there. So when I point my nose at the target, we'll have an idea of where it's located with the lozenge. And we can just bring the pipper on that. Drop our last 2 bombs and see how these are going to do. So as you can see, We've hit like the area with the tents. A few trucks there. The helicopters seem to be somewhat damaged, at least those here. And the caution that we heard is to get ourselves back into Cat 1. Now I have one more target, which is the SAM site. And this one is on steer point 6. And now I'm left with just guns, so I'm going to switch to those. So I'm going to bring the nose of the aircraft to that area. We can see that we just went through a little bit of rain. And I think this is the area where the SAMs are. I'm going to try to line up myself up with the two little moons where they have the launchers. And so this, we could drop some chaff and flares. And so we're going to go try a gun run right here. And so we got some of the trucks and at least one of the launchers. That's good enough for me. And so now we can go back to nav mode and start heading home. And we can drop some countermeasures as we're heading away. So the enemy planes are now at 70 miles. We might get like a message as we head towards this waypoint here that they're going to appear to the north, but we know that they were already in the mission, so it's just my cue to modify the mission before I fly it with my wingman next time. Feel a bit spooky when the weather is not super nice, but the cool thing with a plane like the F-16 is you get these lozenges where the waypoints are. So if you had like really good intel on where the target's located, in this case it's a helipad, doesn't move, you can just put the waypoints where you want them, and then when you go with CCRP you'll just drop your bombs on the spot. The plane calculates the rest. Even the wind, there is a little bit of wind in my mission, and we saw that the bombs fell pretty much where I wanted them to. So you see possible fast bombers to the north. Well, they've already done whatever they needed to do, those bombers, so we'll just let them do their own thing. It's too bad because I won't get to use my air-to-air missiles. I guess I could have used the practice, so let's try a few things just for fun. To see my different modes. Okay, and then if I do that, okay. It's good to see that I still remember how to do these things. Just switching the different modes, and as you can see now we're just back to nav mode. So when you're flying like just with the HUD without the helmet display, you don't see as much information, so those quick dogfighting modes when you're in visual range, especially for sidewinder shots, these are pretty useful. Okay, so this was my egress, but it's also an alternate. It's a grass field that's there, so it was really just for an emergency if I had been hit, but I guess we're good for that. So we'll go to our waypoint that's gonna get us on final at the airfield, and we're gonna go land this thing. Now one of the things I could do, since it's been a fairly uneventful flight, is I could actually try to go see if I can go reach my tanker, just for fun. So let's do that. Let's just reset the autopilot here. And so I'm gonna put the frequency there at 135 for COM2. So 13500. Enter. And I could set up the TACAN to, is it 35? Yes, 35. 35. Enter. So we'll see how that works. If I do this, I do get the beep. I think that's him there at 18,000 feet, so it's not very close, but we can just go have fun. So we'll get to go fly above those clouds now. Let's give it some afterburner to gain altitude. I'm going to continue flying in the same direction because it's going to put me on an intercept course. You hear a lot of those beep beeps. You can see here there is something to lower the volume on the always wonder which one it is. Is it this one? No. ILS TACAN. There we go. That's ILS. Anyways. Yeah, I think I've lowered the volume there a little bit. It must have been the ILS one that I needed to lower. Yeah, now we don't hear it anymore. I will possibly use the ILS of Frankfurt also for my landing, so interesting. Those 3 UFOs we see there, I think it's our AWACS and it's 2 escorts. We see some dots in the distance plus contrails, so maybe once we get above the, well, maybe we won't go above that cloud layer because my tanker is at 18,000. So I've burned like some of my fuel there. So I'm going to change my heading a little bit further to the left. Again, to try to get to an intercept course on my tanker. And so you can see that little blue arrow there seems to be pointing in the right direction for the tanker. And he should be a little bit below us. I don't think we'll see him as clearly as those. So I'll lower my altitude to 18,000. Maybe it's below those clouds or in those clouds. We'll see.
Magic 1-1, passing waypoint 5 at 29,000. Uzi 6, Magic 1-1, pop-up group 066, Fork 120 at 2,500, cold.
Okay, so he's going to be coming in front of us pretty soon. I think I see him right there. There we go. So that's our guy. So we could actually call him on the radio and say that we would like to go tank. So there. Intend to refuel.
5-1, Uzi 6, request rejoin.
I'm going to turn my lights back on.
Uzi, technical 5-1, proceed to pre-contact at 18,000 at 240.
240. I'm a bit fast. I'm going to slow down. And of course, very important thing if you're going to refuel is to open up the door for that. Where is it? There. Open. So it's been a little while since I did a refueling in the F-16, so hopefully I'm not too rusty. Let's try to catch up a little bit here. One of the things sometimes that I do is I center my view like this, and then I'll turn off my track IR just so that I can see the plane better. Now I'm way too fast coming in. I've deployed my air brakes, but I'm gonna have to climb a little bit and get in position.
Ready, pre-contact. Clear contact.
Oh, now he's gonna turn. Isn't that fun? It's a little extra challenge. Idea is to stay in formation on that center line on the tanker. It'd be nice to actually see the lights up front.
Magic 1-1, passing waypoint 6 at 29,000.
Now we see the lights a little bit better, a little bit low. That's kind of good.
Contact.
There we go.
You're taking fuel.
Always like to take a screenshot of this because look at how beautiful that is in a nice turn like this over the clouds. Let's remove this here, maybe even use this view, might make it even more spectacular. Don't you think that's going to make a wonderful screenshot for this mission, for this broadcast? I think so. I like to use a few different angles, and then I'll be able to choose which one I like. There we go. That's kind of cool as well. It's a different view like that. We can see the outline of the plane with the lights below. I think that's kind of nice. Let's go for this. Now we have to go back to the cockpit. We're probably going to disconnect at this point, but it's okay. We already had enough fuel for the mission. I just wanted to see if I was able to reconnect. So let's see if I can stay on for a little while when I unpause. Yeah, it's kind of difficult to do that. I went a bit low there. Now I'm far forward. Doesn't take much to lose connection, especially when you're in a turn like that.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Alright, so I guess that's gonna be good enough. I'm just gonna check my fuel. Yeah, we're at more than what we need, so we'll just tell the tanker thank you.
Abort rejoin.
We're gonna close the little door there on the back. There we go. Normally I go on the right side to say hi. Thanks for the fuel, Mr. Tanker. I think I forgot to turn off my radar. That's something that I should do when I refuel. We got a successful refuel. We'll just say that I forgot that little detail. Hopefully the guy in the back of the KC-135 didn't get fried by my radar waves. So now we're heading back to base with this is being the waypoint that lines me up on final. Now I'm gonna pause again and show something like if we look here at Frankfurt, we have I think a few frequencies for the ILS, and I'm gonna have to check, but I think yeah, for runway 7 it's 111.10. So I'm gonna put that in my ILS TACAN thing and see if we can line up with the runway with it. I think last time I tried this I had the correct glide scope, but it wasn't necessarily lined with the runway. So we'll see how we can play with this here with these. So let's unpause, and here I'm just gonna return and enter here, and I'm gonna go 111 and then 10, enter. And then we'll try to set this thing here for ILS. So our runway should be in that direction. With the sun now, it's going to be a bit hard to see. Okay, it's somewhere over there. It's not about 5,000 here. I'm going to get my air brakes out. And I'm going to switch back my COM2 to the airfield frequency. There we go. We're going to call ATC at Frankfurt.
Aussie 6, inbound.
So we're as you can see, we're getting back into the water and the rain. So I'll get my gears down. And I think my ILS is going to give me a glide slope, but I'm not going to really rely too much on that line. So I'm going to climb a little higher. So I'm going to climb, but I'm flying straight and level. Okay, so let's request our landing.
Request landing.
Trying to see if we will actually intercept that glide slope on the ILS. That does nothing. Yeah. Doesn't seem like it's working, so we'll just do like a visual approach. We can actually see the runway pretty well. to see the lights. We're gonna get our feet on the pedals. So visibility isn't great, but with the runway lights, we're kind of okay, I guess, to know where we're going. Touchdown. Doing a little bit of aerodynamic braking. And now we'll just turn the nose wheel steering so that we can keep the plane straight. And we'll find a taxiway to exit, and we'll go back to where we had started the mission. Can get the air brakes back in.
Uzi 6, Magic 11, pop-up group 061 490 at 1,500 knots. Uzi 6, taxi to parking area.
That is what I'm doing.
Uzi 6, Magic 11, pop-up group 062 490 at 2,000 cold.
Guess I could turn that off there so we will have less clutter in the hood.
Uzi 6, Magic 11, bra 062 490 at 2,500 cold.
You can see there's like another tanker there of some sort. Yeah. What else did I want to check? Yeah, okay, this is the taxi lights. Okay. Maybe have a quick look on the outside. And we have to head like to that far area. There's a C-130 there that's going to help us see where we're going. I think it's a C-130 from the Netherlands that I put there, so it really looks like it's a NATO mission with US forces, Italian F-16s, Netherlands C-130s. Everybody's there. So there's the C-130. I think we're going to get to fly some of those planes soon in DCS.
Magic 11, pop-up group 063 4100 at 2,500 knots. Uzi 6, Magic 11, bra 063 4100 at 2,000 knots.
You can see another F-16 parked there. So we had started on that far away parking lot there. So I'll just follow the line to go park it. We even have like the little ladder there waiting for us. I'll just turn the F-16 around so that I can line it back up the way it was when we took off. So we'll do like a 180 over here. Let's get back in the cockpit to line up with the line there. I think that should be pretty good. Looks like we're lined up with the other F-16. So at this point I can put the parking brake on and I can ask the ground crew to put the wheel chocks.
Chief, place the wheel chocks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
And then I can release the foot pedal brakes. And so there we go, we're back to base, all in one piece. Let's go check here how things are going. So yeah, I'm back today, I guess. So, there. Alright, so this is the little flight I had for tonight. It's not much, but it's kind of fun to fly in those weather conditions. It's a good way to review like some of the different ways of doing things. And so been busy with work lately. Now we get to fly a little bit. Always kind of fun. So hopefully you enjoyed that little show of bombing and gunning practice. Let's go check on the map what we did here. So we can see that there's a launcher here that's been destroyed. This one was damaged a little bit, not much. And there were some trucks in between, so we got those. And here there are still 3 helicopters that are alive. And when you put those uncontrolled, you can't really see like if they're damaged much. But it doesn't look like there are many trucks left here. So I don't know if I hit F7. I usually put one of those vehicles to see the damage. And so now we can see the trucks and SA-6 launcher that we hit. And at this part here you can see many trucks on fire and a lot of the targets have been hit there. Trying to see if we can spot our bomb impacts in that area here. But we do see the impacts there here. So we did quite a bit of damage here with the fuel trucks and some of the other elements. So yeah, kind of a fun little experience there. Sometimes we see damage on the helicopters, but they look like they might be flyable again. So that's why normally I fly this with a two F-16s with my wingman, and one will take one side of these and the other one will take the other. But I'm pretty satisfied with my little solo flight there with the damage we got done. So, and you can see there was quite a bit of wind with the fire going sideways and the smoke like that. So the F-16 computer calculates in CCRP where the bombs need to drop with what it feels the wind might be. So there. So let's do our let's go back to the maybe outside view here, and we'll do our lazy shutdown, and that's going to be it for this flight. Canopy open. There we go. one last little screenshot, and I'm gonna be out of here. So cool hand out.